Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 79 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we need to make some nitric acid, which will assist in getting the other ores into the washing setup here. Enjoy! Okay, Crucinium's looking good. It's caught up, and now it's just filling this storehouse that just has one train's worth of squares on it, just as a buffer, because that's what it would have had right here. So now we need to get the other ores in there. Well, Rubyte and bobmonium are right here. So that would be pretty easy to do if we just extend the rails out here and put some mining stations in there. You might see the temptation to just run a belt over here because it's so close. It's actually closer than the base is. But no, let's do it right. Let's do some trains. So let's grab a Rubyte train here. Because this track is kind of pointed the wrong way. This Rubyte is coming from this direction. So we need to get a rail up here. Doesn't really matter where to put it. But I'm thinking just right between these two mines here, because sooner or later we'll be mining this Crucinium, so it might be convenient just having one rail between them. And let's get a train station in here. The loading variety. Can't flip it, but we can kind of adjust it later. So let's put it right there. Okay, and we can grab this bit right here. Because then we can just flip it around. Make it work a little better with the station. So let's hook it in with a splitter. Let's make it a priority splitter, so the base gets the primary output, only the leftovers go to the train station. And we'll let that load up. So now we need to get this connected to the main line. I'm fine with this just being a one train track for now. One thing when you're placing tracks is it takes a lot more space to have two tracks next to each other than just the one, so if you don't need to have two different directions of tracks, you just, why bother putting them there? Just makes the base look cleaner and simpler, avoiding it. It would be nice to have some lights in here. And we need to loop this around. So we'll go this direction. And then back the other way. And come back in. And let's get it programmed in. So we're going to Rubyte load. Wait for full. And then Rubyte unload. Wait for empty. This color set up. Make it the same color as Rubyte, which is very red, so probably just not adding anything but red to that. That's the closest we're going to get. Copy that over to the train station. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. This output is just so slow. And really, the thing that we've been waiting on is nitric acid. So most of these miners have plenty of non-acid related mining to do. It's just, if they have a single infinite ore patch that they can access, that every time they mine, they pick a random patch to mine from. So eventually, they're going to pick the one with acid, and then when they hit it, they stop. So you see how this miner isn't going. But if I pick him up and place it down again, it restarts the queue. So it's currently mining from the non-infinite ore patches. But sooner or later, it's going to hit one, and then it's going to stop, like the rest of these. So basically, the point here is that a very small amount of nitric acid could potentially go a long way. Like, we don't need it to mine all of this. We just need it, and so there, when it stopped, we just need it on hand to some of these miners, so occasionally when they ping one of the infinite ores, they don't just stop like this. So a tiny bit of nitric acid could actually be quite effective. And I'm saying this because we actually can make nitric acid now. That the production of Rubyte creates nitric wastewater. And then nitric wastewater can be purified into sodium nitrate, which we can use to make some acid. So, let's do some nitrogen research here. It unlocks air filter 2, which is nice. But we can take the sodium nitrate, add compressed air to get monoxide and dioxide gases. Or we can create monoxide gas with a catalyst, but we don't have those resources. But we can take the monoxide gas and add oxygen to make nitrogen dioxide gas. And then we take that gas, add purified water, and make acid. But we also have the option of avoiding all of that by taking some sulfuric acid and adding some sodium nitrate to it to make our nitric acid. And that is convenient in the sense that it avoids everything, but it's kind of complicated, but it creates slightly less nitric acid that way than if you do the long process here. But this also unlocks the ability to make ammonium chloride and urea. But we just need the nitric acid for now, so let's hit research on that. And we also need some sodium nitrate to start this whole process. So, let's process the Rubyte we have now, so we can get some resources to make the acid from. I'll hit this to manual so it doesn't leave. It's probably going to take not that much time to completely empty. But we want to make sure all of this works. It won't be performance tested or anything because we don't have nearly the throughput for that, but just want to make sure all the belts are hooked up properly and all the inserters are configured. Looks pretty good. The washing is beginning, and there's the sodium nitrate being produced. It's looking good, but we're running out of resources, so that is the extent of the testing that we can do with that. But there go the chunks. So now we've got Rubyte, chunks, and crushed Rubyte. So now we just have the other three resources to do. But because we have that Rubyte throughput problem, we should see what we can do about processing this sodium nitrate into acid to make it go a little faster. Okay, well, train's empty. Let's send it back. I'm just going to place the acid production just somewhere over here. It might be slightly more efficient to place it here, but this is going to be a temporary acid setup. Just a very quick and dirty way of getting it done, just to help an immediate problem, and we'll do it more officially later. So you might as well just kind of place it right next to where it needs to be, and try not to get in the way of anything. So we're going to need some chemical plants. So the output here, this could be our nitric acid from nitrogen dioxide gas. And let's put a plant down here. And we're going to create nitrogen dioxide gas from sodium nitrate and some compressed air. And sometimes it's kind of hard to tell that those colors and color schemes are very similar. But this is not lined up properly. I'll put it like right there. But we've also got that monoxide gas, which we want to combine with oxygen to make the dioxide gas. which we can do here. Let's see, is that lined up? Looks like it. Basically, the monoxide gas is kind of like a byproduct, but we want to use up all that byproduct, which will dramatically decrease the amount of sodium nitrate we need to make the acid to begin with. So I'm just trying to get these things lined up. Let's see, what does it look like right there? And as far as which method to use, I'm just going to use purified water so we don't have to deal with moving slag around. I'm also not going to worry about the electrodes either, just to make this as simple as possible. Okay, so that's not lined up because of course it's not. Okay, that looks good. Pipe there, and then we need to get rid of the hydrogen. Let's see, we also need to link up the purified water. Although, might want to move this a little lower. Like right there. And let's put a top-up valve in here. Because we don't want this running all the time, because if it does, it might clog the system. We need to leave room for the byproducts to be consumed. And the byproduct, specifically in this case, is the monoxide gas. So we don't want to be producing too much dioxide gas. So let's put the top-up valve right there. And we need a fluid-burning boiler here. Let's see, let's put it like right there. Yeah, there's no reason to squish it that close together. This isn't like this is space limited or anything. And we need a steam engine just to burn off the hydrogen byproduct. And I'm not going to worry about doing a latch or anything on this. I'm fine with it just being connected to the network because I want this to be as simple and straightforward as possible. That in the long run, this is a very temporary measure, so I'm fine with it just kind of being placed here. As long as it's reasonably efficient, that's all I'm really worried about. So we've got the purified water hooked up. The oxygen hooked up. So let's get an air filter. And we also need some purified water. Let's get that in there. Just water purification. Let's see, let's hook that up there. Water purification goes up, and we need a clarifier. Okay, let's just drop the clarifier wherever. That's looking pretty good. We need to get the unpurified water hooked up to power. And just to make this easy, let's do a groundwater bore, so we don't have to worry about running pipes everywhere. So now all this is going to slowly start activating. I'm not worried about throughput or balance or anything, just 1 to 1 to 1 is fine. I imagine we're going to produce very little acid at a time with this. So let's just prepare and get the acid piped in here. Then I'll leave that last connection unhooked just so we can make sure the acid works. So we need to get the sodium nitrate in there. I could run a bunch more road to pick up and deliver right next to where these items are, but I'm fine with just running a temporary belt. And we can just deal with it later. So all this stuff is temporary anyway, it's just here to make sure that the setup works and there's somewhere for these byproducts to at least go. Let's just put a regular filter inserter in here. And let's just do sodium nitrate. Let it do its thing. So we need a supply depot. Just plop it right in the middle. But it'll be making partial trips here if we don't have some logic set up. So we need a decider combinator and a writer. So we run the cable between these. And we'll set this up. Waiting for an entire drone's worth of resources might be too much, considering how slowly we'll create this. So we'll say sodium nitrate has to be greater than 50. So I'll put a green square. And then that green square will turn on the supply depot. And let's deliver it. I guess we'll just deliver it right here. I know it might look kind of dumb to have a drone just take it from here to here when you could just do a belt doing the same thing, but it's all temporary as I look at it, so you know, we could just, that's just less stuff to pick up and drop off and remove once this process gets replaced. Okay, we need to get the sodium nitrate in right there. So let's just go down alongside here. So let's request that sodium nitrate. Drop the drone in. And we'll have to watch the process. Fuel's coming in. And the drone's on its way. Okay, let's see if this works. Of course, it needs an inserter too. That would help. Okay. It's caught up, so let's hook up this pipe and watch the mining. Oh, didn't connect it right here. Or right here. There it goes. Much, much better. It really doesn't use that much of nitric acid to make that happen. Looks like the limiting factor to all of this is oxygen. Might be slightly better to have these be red belts. So that just that little bit of acid filled up the pipes quite well. And the train is getting filled up. Well, let's take it back to its unload and see how it works now that it has a lot more resources. Looking good. It's only running the one belt of Rubyte because the other one is the bypass belt, and it's already made it to the end of the line, so nothing else to see there. But now we have enough to see this working in full force. Well, for a time anyway, because I guess it's going to be filled up. So it seems to be working. All right, let's get another train station in here. Actually, it's probably going to be quite similar to this one, so let's just do a copy. And put it in, how about right there? And let's hook it up. Luckily, we already have acid being delivered here, so it's not too big a deal to just let this handle itself. It should be alright. Okay. That's hooked up. Might be able to do it in a very similar way to this side, so we can save ourselves some thought process. And just grab this and drop it into place. And create Wait as scheduled, so Bobmonium load. Wait until full. Bobmonium unload. Wait until empty. See if we can get these colors set up. I don't know how you get brown. I don't know, this is a hard color to reproduce. Maybe something like that. It's about as close as I can get. Probably should be thinking about getting more radars evenly placed along the factory here, because we've got some blind spots. So for now, let's just drop that there so we have some more sight. And the train is caught up. So let's send it on its course and see how the Bobmonium processing works. That is a very strange path. Ah, because that needs to be pointed the other direction as well. Well, let's get that fixed real quick. So the train's on that track a little bit, so we can't pick it up. Okay, I think that configuration is good. So let's see how this works. Some of these inserters aren't set correctly. Some are red and some are blue here. It's kind of weird how that got set up. That's why we test everything. There we go. Looking good. And there we go, now we have Bobmonium. So 2 left. The Jivolite and Stereotype, which are conveniently right up here. So we can probably just have like a train station coming up here to pick up those 2. And have them like spin around and go back that way. And looks like we got more free sulfur for the base. Although we can't process it here, it's easy enough just to pick up a couple stacks and drop it off at the sulfur processing so we can get some more batteries. Well, we can send that on its way, since it seems like it works okay. So let's put a loading station about right here. It looks like we're going to need to flip it around again. Like right about here. So we go Jivolite load. Full cargo. Jivolite unload. Empty. I did notice a potential conflict here, that these belts are going to be going in a straight line, and they're definitely going to impact with that turnaround point. It should be fine, these locations, because there's not going to be any more washers on this side. There's going to be some crushers and whatnot here, but there shouldn't be any washers. So mostly this is going to expand up here in this direction. So it's possible that this is going to be in the way and things are going to need to be moved. Or this is going to be in the way, but we'll just have to play it by ear. It's relatively small task just to move some rails around if they so happen to be in the way. Alright, Jivolite's coming in. We'll let that move for a second. Let's get the train colored up. And let's copy this whole setup since it's pretty close to what we need, and we'll just kind of position it in a way where the loop can fit in here properly. And we can do a similar setup for the connection to the rails. But let's send that through the upgrade planner so we can turn stone bridges into regular ones. There we go. Although this is kind of pointed the wrong way. And let's just split off from right here. And bring it into the train station. Alright, let's test Givelite. Whoa. That was unexpected. Did it not load anything? Oh, looks like it's empty. That's the wrong thing. Looks like they were facing the wrong way anyway. Okay, let's set this to steerotite. Looks like these inserters are facing the wrong way. Let's try this again. Okay, 4,000 ought to be plenty for a test. Might as well set this Crotinium train. Even though it's not going anywhere right now. Givelite crushing looks good. Looking good, seems to be running okay. Okay, Givelite chunks are making it down. Now all we need is steerotite. Okay, we've got about 4,000. Let's take it back. Steerotite crushing looks pretty good. And the washing looks pretty good. And steerotite's coming in. It's always especially satisfying to see everything finally come into place, where we have the rainbow of ores. And setup looks like it's good. Looks like it's functioning as well as it can without its supplementary components, like dealing with all of these geodes and whatnot. But for now, this is good enough where we can keep building onto it. But that's going to have to wait for the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you later.